the second half of Chapter 15 from the Detective Club. On Thursday morning, Drew and I took out the camera in homeroom and started looking at the pictures. I fake laughed really loudly to get everyone's attention. As I'd hoped, everyone huddled around us to see what we were looking at. The plan was working. "Oh man, that one's so embarrassing," I said, staring at a picture of me with a big mouthful of cake, giving the photographer 2 thumbs up. A girl in a strapless red dress had her left arm draped over my shoulders. "What are those pictures of?" Sean asked. "Oh, our friend Emma's birthday party was on Saturday. We had no choice but to go to Emma's because she went to our birthday parties this summer, and anyway, I'd forgotten till this morning that her mom's camera was broken, so I'd let her use mine," I explained. "Where was the party? Why is everything made out of wood?" he asked. Sean was right. I looked at the pictures for the first time as if I was someone else, and it really did look like they were taken inside a treehouse. "Her parents are crazy about wood paneling," Drew said. "That's Emma," I said, pointing to another picture of me standing next to Drew's shoulder, when he was wearing his mom's yellow dress that time. I silently prayed nobody would recognize the remarkably Texas-shaped mole on his shoulder. But otherwise, Drew was so scrawny that he could make for a pretty good imitation of a girl's shoulder. "These are action shots of when Emma blew out the candles," I explained. "I'm laughing so hard because they were trick candles and kept relighting. It was funny because she has pretty bad asthma and was starting to hyperventilate or something." Why did her mom take all these pictures of just Peter? Why wouldn't she take pictures of her own daughter blowing out the candles? We're family friends. We go to Maine together for a week every summer," I said. Luckily, the bell rang, and I quickly turned the camera off. "Okie dokie, time to put the party shots away." Everyone looked really confused, and Drew sighed. "Okay, everyone, quiet down. I have an announcement to make," Mr. Davis said. "It seems a fair number of students have lost personal items since school started, and Principal Curtis has instructed us to remind you to keep better track of your belongings. Make a mental check before you leave each class to make sure you haven't left anything on your desks or that sort of thing." Wait a sec. "Where's my hat?" Sean asked, acting really panicked. "It's on your head," Sally said. Sean felt his head and sighed really loudly. Then he got that panicked look on his face again. "Wait a sec. Where's my shoes?" Everyone laughed. "Okay, knock it off," Mr. Davis said, but even he was smiling. Drew poked me in the ribs. "You should be the one coming up with hilarious jokes like that," he scolded me. "I know," I said softly. At the beginning of each class that morning, I showed the pics to more classmates, and the results were mixed at best. They weren't nearly as impressed as I thought they would be, but on the other hand, not a single student accused me of faking the party pics, and I figured that was better than nothing. Plus, there was an added bonus. In English class, I was feeling guilty that everyone was taking notes the whole time. But then when the bell rang, Heidi suddenly realized her mechanical pencil was missing. And I think Mr. Wenzel was just as bored as everyone else, because he immediately got down on his hands and knees to help her look for it. Anyway, it was this moment when it dawned on me that I could simply take secret pictures of the chalkboard instead of having to take notes. My idea was that the night before a test or something, I'd simply zoom the pictures on my dad's computer and study the photographs until I learned everything. Maybe this thinking outside the box thing hadn't changed our lives just yet, but it certainly had its benefits. On Friday, I continued to secretly take digital pictures of the blackboard in my classes while my classmates feverishly took notes, and then spent the rest of the time writing in my inventor's notebook. At lunchtime, Principal Curtis showed up and motioned for everyone to quiet down. "Listen up, everybody," he said. "The Lost and Found forum on the school website is absolutely stuffed. And after interviewing several of the students who've lost items in the last few weeks, we've come to the conclusion that either there's a thief in this school or stealing in general has risen abnormally this fall." The students all started murmuring nervously. Now, there's no need for panic, but you really have to be diligent, not only about watching your own things, but also about keeping an eye out for suspicious activity. If you see anyone or anything suspicious, just tell a teacher or visit me at my office. That is all for now. Enjoy the rest of your lunches. Principal Curtis exited the cafeteria, and everyone started chattering real loudly. "I can't believe this is happening," Drew said. Surprisingly, some students didn't believe there really was a thief. Mrs. Farley, who had lunch monitor duty that day, suggested to Carson at the next table over that there was no thief. "I've been teaching for 20 years. And the one thing middle schoolers have in common is that they all lose personal possessions constantly. It's just a bigger deal nowadays because they have more expensive things to lose." It seemed weird to me that everyone was so freaked out about this thief business. Me and Drew, we had worse things to worry about. These people had such easy lives. To worry about this thief thing when me and Drew were barely hanging on? As the days passed, more students' things went missing, too. Angie's favorite bracelet, Carson's scientific calculator, an 8th grader's wallet, Sally's horseshoe keychain, a 7th grader's earbuds. It became a daily occurrence where in at least one of my classes, someone would find out that they were missing something. A hoodie, a cell phone, a t-shirt, a textbook. In fact, Drew and I at one point realized that we were the only kids who hadn't gotten anything stolen. It seemed. "Even the thief doesn't include us," Drew said, and I nodded sadly. Unluckily for us, our wish was granted, because when I went to my locker at the end of the day to get Drew's jacket, it was gone. Drew showed up a moment later and I gritted my teeth. I have some not so great news that kind of involves you," I said. "Your jacket's missing." "You lost my jacket?" "Not necessarily. The thief might have stolen it," I said. "But you have a history of losing your jacket, Peter, so maybe the thief has nothing to do with it." "Either way, I'm in the clear, right?" "How so?" "If the thief stole it, that's not my fault," I said. "And if I really did lose your jacket, well, you already knew this tendency of mine beforehand. So really, to be fair, in a way, it's more your fault that you let me borrow it in the first place. Because now I feel bad for losing it, and it's not like I could help it." That is not a good excuse. I shrugged my shoulders. "We're different people," I said. "I guess I'm just the type of kid who, when I put a quarter in the claw machine at the arcade and failed to pick up a toy, I don't get angry because I knew there was always that risk that I wouldn't succeed. I guess you're right, Drew said. He didn't say anything else, and this kind of annoyed me. I wanted to point out that if he was a bigger man, he'd apologize for putting me in this situation in the first place. But this was one of those rare moments in life where I knew to quit while I was ahead. Then I thought of something. Hey, what if it was the thief? I asked. For the first time, we really considered this possibility, and it gave us the chills. By the end of the following week, more students had stuff go missing. Everyone was talking about it because in any group of friends, in any grade, at least one person had lost something at school. And there was no doubt about it at this point. There was definitely a thief at the school. I want you to take a minute, and now that you know there's definitely a thief at the school, make a prediction in your own mind about who you think the thief could be and what good a detective club is.